Because if you die and catch a heart attack at your job, folks, before your obituary is written, before you have a funeral, before they put dirt on your casket, your job will be up on Indeed. Man, they'll probably put put your name on a hallway in the building, but at the end of the day, you have to be healthy for your kids. You gotta be healthy for yourself. You gotta make sure that you're making it home, and you can give your wife, your husband, your significant other, and your children some of the best of you. But if you're so stressed out and so worried and so concerned and so overconsumed with work, what's the purpose of it all? Right? Like, what's the purpose of, you saying, oh, I'm this great principal, but you end up getting divorced. Your kids don't know you. Nobody's there for you because you spent so much time at this job. You spend so much time fighting union battles and fighting with teachers and fighting with curriculum and fighting with all these things that you may be a successful principal, but you are incomplete in other places of your life. That's not good for anybody. That's not good for the kids you serve. That's not good for the teachers. One of the worst things I hated doing was following a leader who had nothing going on outside of work. That's like the worst leader to follow, right? Like, I'm not even gonna hold you. You follow a leader who don't got no wife, don't got no husband, don't got anything at home. They got anything else besides the job. That's a very, very difficult person to follow because they're gonna assume that you're gonna want to do things the way they do things, right? And they're not gonna put in perspective work-life balance, right? They're not gonna put in perspective like, I got to get home and cook dinner. Or I got to go home and spend time with my kids and any of those things, right? So today, principals. One thing that I'm going to tell you, which is going to help you turn schools around, increase student performance for black males, make sure you and brown males, and make sure you get off of those naughty performance lists, is you have to take care of your mental health. When we travel, right, and we get on the airplane, they say when the oxygen masks come out, make sure that you put the oxygen mask on your face first before you attempt to help somebody else. Right? So, principals, school leaders, I know your job is stressful. I know there's a lot of things that you have and a lot of hats that you're wearing. I remember as a principal, you might have a parent conference where you're telling a parent that their kid is failing. A fight may break out, and then you might have to shake hands with a politician the next moment. So you go from a serious conversation about why kids are not being successful. A fight breaks out where you got to investigate a fight and suspend the kid. And then you got to put on another face to say, all right, yes, we have this going on, and you might have to meet with some politicians. And then you have a teacher trying to, have union issues about frivolous things, or it might be big things. And then you have all of these things going on back to back to back, all in one day. What happens to your heart rate? It spikes, it goes up, it goes down. And that's how people catch heart attacks. So, number one, principles to help you with your mental health. This is key. Number one, make sure that you take vacation days. The district provides you with a certain amount of vacation days. They give you 20 to 30 vacation days. And principals say, I never have time to take vacation. Only vacation I take is the ones that, when the kids are off. There's a few issues with that. You take the vacation when the kids are off. Great, that's allotted to you. But you have to be intentional about, I need to go and disengage for 5 days. I need to disengage for 10 days. What? 10 days out of my building? The building will catch on fire. If you can't take 5 to 10 days out of your building once or twice a year outside of the normal vacation that they give you, it's because your systems aren't in place correctly. There should be systems in place where you know who's your number two, you know who you could trust to run the building, but you have to disengage from the work. It's like any other muscle in your body. If you just if you're using your brain and using all your heart and you're putting maximum energy into something, you will literally not be able to continue the task at your highest level because of mental fatigue. And I'm not gonna, I'm burnt out. So many people saying they burnt out, never been on fire. So I'm not gonna say I'm burnt out. I'm just saying you're gonna have mental and physical exhaustion and fatigue, and it's so important that you rejuvenate yourself. It's so important that you take time and you take time just for you, nobody else, to fill yourself back up. Because leaders, you might just go and don't see it, but there's so many people pulling on you, especially on the sides of your building, right? And if you've never been a principal before, if you've never walked in those shoes, it's very difficult for you to conceptualize what I'm saying. But for my principals, for the people I'm talking to, I got your back. I told you I got your back. I'm with you. You have to disengage. You have to go on a retreat. You got to get, even if you're just, in your house, you got to disengage. Another thing, principals, and I'm freestyling. I'm giving you this off the top of the dome, remembering what I put in the book, but giving you just a few things. You have to keep a schedule, right? Like your schedule has to be kept to fidelity. The better you have a schedule, right? Like in the morning I do this, the afternoon time I do this, midday I do this. The better you keep a schedule, the better off you'll be, right? Like you already know, okay, this is what my schedule looks like. Sit down with your secretary and write out your schedule. It takes a little bit more work in the front end, but it's so much better in the back end, because principals, you do so much, and then you'll go back and say, what did I do today? I felt like all I handled was this fight situation. I investigated and that's it, right? If that's the case, then it's because you don't have your schedule laid out, and then you don't know what you're actually doing at what time. So make sure that you have a schedule that you can refer back to and that people know, so that you have time to do your observations, that you have time to meet with teachers, that you have time to meet with union reps, that you have time to, now, you don't have to be so rigid in your schedule, but having a schedule is key for the success of the school. Accessibility. Principals, I know you want to give everybody your number. I know you want to have everybody be in contact with you, which is great. I know you want to be that principal that anybody can get in contact with you, which is phenomenal. But the problem is that you have to have your assistant principals, your deans, your school counselors. The principal should not be the first person a parent calls if there's a problem. The principal should not be the first person everyone calls if there's a problem. If there's no paper in the teacher's lounge, they should not call the principal first. They should call their assistant principal. They should call the maintenance man. They should call, right? And you have to have something that you lay out to the staff. Here's who you call for this. Here's who you call for this. If there's a situation, a discipline situation, here's the assistant principal you call. Here is the assistant principal that's assigned to your situation, to your grade level, to your, right? Like, there has to be a system put in place where people know who to call first. Because if you're fielding every single phone call, if you're fielding all of the complaints, you're going to be wore out. So you have to put a system in place. Next thing, leaders, you have to eat lunch every day. I know it's tough. I know you have so much going on. I know you're so busy. But you have to take time to eat lunch every single day. Take time when you just allocate 30 to 40 minutes, 45 minutes to give yourself uninterrupted time. Read a book, listen to some classical music, listen to some trap music if that's what you like. But take some time to eat lunch. You have to, it's imperative. You have to eat lunch. You have to make sure that you are finding time for yourself to eat lunch and, reflect and look at the day. You have to do that. If you don't do that, it just wears you down. Next thing, exercise every day. Exercise every day. Exercising daily is a game changer, people. I used to go work out in the morning time, and I would go before work. It allowed me to think about my upcoming day. It allowed me to work out some of the anxiety that I had prior to. It allowed me to, really deal with the pressure and the stress of the job. People will say, oh, are you trying to just, no, I'm not trying to bodybuild or compete. I'm doing this because this is how I deal with my stress. I deal with my stress in the weight room. I deal with my stress with lifting weights. You gotta have an outlet that's healthy, right? Everything that I'm telling you are healthy things to do. And we can have some more intimate conversations because I've seen principals find themselves in unhealthy habits, right? Unhealthy habits, like they got a bottle of alcohol in their desk. That's an unhealthy habit. And the job is stressful. I'm not going to lie to you. But when your go-to is alcohol, it spirals out of control because you need one drink and another drink and another drink and another drink, and then that becomes your coping mechanism. And then that leads to other issue going on in your household. That leads to a financial situation because at one point, when they talk about alcoholism, somebody thinks, oh, just because somebody drinks alcohol that makes them a alcoholic. No, alcoholism, and mind you, I'm rusty on the DSM-5 or 6 or whatever they got out right now. That's the Bible that therapists use to diagnose people. But when we talk about alcoholism, you're talking about when alcohol or any drug becomes the thing that causes other things to go bad in your life, right? Like you drink once or twice and you go out and drive and you get a DUI or you get in an accident or you get in a fight with your loved one, your significant other, and every time you drink there's a problem. Then you're alcoholic. You have you will be clinically diagnosed as an alcoholic because every time you consume alcohol, it causes another negative issue to happen in your life. So, some people smoke, some people use alcohol, some people use a lot of things as their coping techniques, right? you know, and for principals, you don't have a lot of outlets. You don't have a lot of people to talk to. Some people find themselves in relationships with their secretary. They find themselves in relationships with teachers. And because and not to justify it, but oftentimes they find themselves in situations like that because the stress of the job, they have nobody to talk to, they have no outlet, and they're not practicing healthy strategies to keep their mental health right, and then they find themselves in these compromising situations. They didn't go into the job, and I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of times people didn't go into the job to be in those situations. It just happened. So you want to make sure that you're setting barriers, you're being intentional about taking care of your mental health. Another thing, folks, there has to be a time when your phone goes off. There has to be a time where you say, I'm not answering emails, I'm not taking phone calls, I'm not picking up the phone for this situation. You cannot be a person that is fielding phone calls at 11, 12 o'clock at night for the school because you're not getting the proper amount of rest and sleep for yourself. And I know this sounds like, anti-success, but I'm telling you, mentally, emotionally, your body can only take a certain amount of work that you can do consistently for your school to be successful. I see you working, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night every single night is not healthy for you. And truth be told, that's not what it takes to move a school anyway. That's just you feeling like you have to be in control, feeling like you have to do everything. So you're taking on these things that are not fruitful. They're fruitless. Well, I'm hard working, I'm grinding. This is how I became successful. Okay. I'm trying to help you for the long term. I'm trying to help you to have longevity because I love you. I'm trying to make sure that, you could do this for 10, 15, 20 years, that, you still have a significant other at the end of the day, that you don't lose your kids and lose everybody because you chasing whatever it is you chasing. And I understand the kids need to get educated. Obviously, my whole life is built on this, but there has to be work-life balance, right? Another thing, principles you have to do, find time to read something that makes you feel good. Everything you read shouldn't have to, be allocated to, being a principal. Every time you read something shouldn't just be associated with, okay, this is what I have to do as a principal. This is what I have to do. I have to read the new regulations for the state. I gotta understand this. I gotta understand that. Find some time where you can read things leisurely. Last thing, I'm gonna let you go. Got to get back to my vacation, but I love you because I love you, so I'm doing this for you. I promised myself that I'm going to give you content after content after content. Last thing you want to do, you got to find times to laugh. Laughter is good for the soul. Laugh often. Laugh with your administrative team. Find things you could do that makes you smile. Again, this work is stressful. It's a lot of pressure on you, high stakes, and nobody, at least it didn't happen for me often. Nobody's checking in on the principal to see how they're doing, how they're feeling. So, principal, today this is my check-in with you. This is me saying, how are you doing? How is your mental health? How is your sanity? How is your how are you feeling through this pandemic? And I'm saying I appreciate you and I love you. I want to see you be as successful as possible. When we're putting this pressure on principals and we're saying we need this and we need that, trust me, You work with me, I put the pressure on you. I want to see you win. It's because I want to see you win. I want to see you win, which in turn makes the teachers win, which in turn makes the kids win. Right? Like we create successful school, everybody benefits. But I need to make sure that you're okay. I need you to have the mask on your face first. I need you to be able to breathe oxygen first before you're trying to help other people. But I also need your family to be good, your personal family. I need your husband, your wife, your significant other to be good. I need your kids to be good. Because what profits a principal to have a successful school but a failing family at the same time? You know, you gain the world but lose everything else in return. So again, take care of your mental health. Take those strategies, take those steps, apply them. Apply those strategies. I promise you, it's a game changer. I promise you, it's going to help you so much. But you have to be intentional about your mental health. You got to be intentional about it. If you're not intentional about it, it's going to be very, very difficult for it to happen. It's like dieting. It's like going to the gym. It has to be something that you put into your schedule and you see the benefit and the significance of it. I don't want to see you get a heart attack and die on the job. I don't want to see you, so stressed out. And one more point. School principals, most districts, I would venture to say all districts are providing health insurance. Do not be afraid to go see a counselor or a therapist when you need it. Like, do not be afraid to take advantage of EAP and the Employee Assistance Program. Don't be afraid. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with going to see a therapist. There's nothing wrong to go see a counselor. There's nothing wrong with, making sure that you're good and you're whole. And I hear this in my spirit. You got to pray. You got to pray. God, I truly believe God puts people in leadership for a reason, and that everybody that's in leadership was assigned by God to be there for whatever reason. And you have to pray while you're in these jobs, because these jobs are stressful, and whatever God you pray to, it gives you clarity of mind, it gives you direction, it gives you focus. Prayer is always good. I heard that in my spirit before I let you go. I had to say it. You got to make sure that you pray. You got to make sure that you are, seeking God, the Spirit on the inside of you, so that you can make best decisions. Family, again, make sure you pick up the book. It's coming out soon. It will be a game changer. I love you. Make sure that you are taking care of your mental health. I'm going to go back and enjoy this wonderful weather we have in the DR. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Abraham, President and CEO of MEA Consulting Services, LLC, one of the fastest growing consulting companies in the country. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace. Family, thank you for taking this time and spending it with me. You just heard me talk about strategies that you can use to take care of your mental health. Your mental health is so important. Find time to read, find time to work out. Really follow the strategies I talked about in this session today and apply them today. I promise you they're going to help you and they're going to change your life. If you need to talk to me, I'm here for you. I am a trusted advisor to so many principals around the country. You have somebody who's done it and that knows the strategies and that's willing to work with you so that you can be successful in your school. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Abraham. I appreciate you. I love you. Peace.